anything about it. So now it's up to us to turn this around. Throughout my career in public service, which has been half of my life, 20 years, when I started working 20 years ago at 250 Broadway as a city council staffer during the Bloomberg administration, when I worked in City Hall, that nice, beautiful building behind me, and now the near 7 years I've been in the New York State Senate, I have learned how to organize, I have learned how to hustle for my neighbors, and how to hold your principles close when you're faced with tough decisions, and especially when you have opponents with bottomless bank accounts. I'm the proud daughter of Colombian immigrants who worked as a seamstress. My mother worked as a seamstress in Astoria. My dad worked as a printing pressman on the Upper East Side. And now I'm here with all of you, a state senator, the chair of the Labor Committee, running for mayor of the city of New York. Now, when I'm mayor, you won't see me spending my evenings at exclusive nightclubs. I prize sleep way too much for that. But more than anything, you'll see me out on the streets talking to people where they are, and at home, checking homework as the mother that I am. People talk a lot about grinding, and many New Yorkers identify with the grind and the hustle that it takes to make a living here in New York. But that's precisely the kind of hustle that I bring and that I believe we need to bridge our city's divide and deliver for New Yorkers. From the most basic of services like picking up garbage and paving potholes, yes, I want to make sure we do that, but also about finally inching closer and achieving universal child care for parents. I have a record to run on. The minimum wage is going to increase every January because of the bill that I passed. Worker safety is now paramount and legally protected because of many bills that I've passed. More New Yorkers have paid leave because we work together to make that happen. And thousands of parents have gained access to child care support because of my work at the city and the state level. I've stood up for my constituents when billionaires have tried to exploit us, and I will continue to do just that across the 5 boroughs. I've brought together stakeholders to get things done, bridging the gap between labor and business, and the diverse communities and immigrant communities that I've had the honor to represent. I've developed a reputation for being a hard worker, someone with an open door policy who will give it to you straight, even if people don't always love it. Over the next 9 months, you're going to see just how hard I work. Not just me, but my team as well. I plan to earn every vote by getting to every corner of this great city. It's the city I love. I love talking to people. I love New Yorkers. And bringing together a coalition of New Yorkers who want to move our city forward is exactly how we make it to our primary day in June. Ladies and gentlemen, New Yorkers, it is a new day for New York. It is time for us to get it together. Let's bring it home. I am ready to be the next mayor for the city of New York.
Question and answer?
Ramos, 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 Ramos.
Thank you, and we will take questions.
All right, so my name is Christopher Leon Johnson. I know this is kind of a controversial question. People on Twitter already are attacking you for being tied to a controversial political figure named 𝐎𝐿 Montserrat. How will you respond to those people that will say that they're not going to vote for you because you used to work for 𝐎𝐿 Montserrat? Everybody knows he's a controversial poll. He's a perennial candidate. That.
I'll answer your question.
So how you respond to that?
Sure.
And one more, and after that, a second question is, how do you feel about one of your colleagues in the state assembly, Kelly Cruz, backing up one of your opponents, Zelma Marie? Everybody's complaining about that. Jeff Colton featured our Politico yesterday about a picture of.
All right, so one at a time. I began my career in public service as a city council staffer for former councilman 𝐎𝐿 Montserrat. I left in 2008 before he was investigated, accused, or found guilty of his wrongdoing. So I believe that having left in 2008, I have actually done a lot of work to make a name for myself and the record that I carry and the style of representing my constituents in the way that I do. So no matter who I've worked for, I am my own woman, and I have a record to run on, and that is what I'll be doing over the next 9 months. And with regard to any of my colleagues are open to supporting any of the candidates that are running for office. We have ranked choice voting. This will be the second mayor's race with ranked choice voting. And so I, of course, would love for everyone to have me as #1 on their ballot. I understand that in a democracy that's unlikely, and I will be fighting for every vote.
Hey, one more thing. Follow. Wait, one more question.
Sorry,
Wait, one more
I got
question.
you 2 questions, and there's more reporters here. Jeff, do you have questions?
Sure. The mayor's looking for a new police commissioner. Have you thought about what you would be looking for in a police commissioner, who you would appoint yourself?
That's a great and really important question because New Yorkers are so concerned about our public safety right now. The person we want as NYPD commissioner is someone preferably who comes from the NYPD and understands our streets. I would also want someone who is reform-minded and understands how we can move our department forward with different types of meaningful investments. I believe in investing in our police officers, making sure that they're safe so that they can keep us safe. That's the only way that that's going to work. And perhaps a little less on robots and other toys that are yet to be proven to actually keep us safe. I'm a big fan of investing in actual human beings. Javier?
Yeah.
Yes.
Immigration is a big issue in this time. How do you want to fix the problems on Roosevelt Avenue, like garbage, prostitution, etc.?
Yeah, as state senator, I have not been able to delve into a lot of those topics because I haven't had the power to increase funding for the sanitation department or for the NYPD because they're city agencies. And actually the neglect that we've seen along Roosevelt Avenue and in other corners in the city are a big reason why I'm running for mayor. I have long criticized the mayor's handling of our budgets that have resulted in fewer trash cans, less trash pickup, a dedication for our NYPD and our detectives to actually look into the vast human trafficking that is happening in our city. I think that deserves a lot more attention. Many of the women who are doing sex work are not doing it because they want to. It's because they feel they have to, because they don't feel safe. So making sure that they feel safe enough to come out and talk about the people who are holding them captive or holding their passports, as what we've seen, is really, really important. But all of this takes the mayor's full attention. And it's impossible for a mayor to give such important issues like that full attention when they're distracted by so many federal investigations around their administration. So we want someone who is transparent, we want someone who is honest, who has integrity, so that we can respond to those and the many quality of life issues that have been neglected around the city.
You mentioned the investigation from Mayor Adams and staff. How do you think that's affected city workers and the city initiative?
I think we've seen morale be very low. There are city agencies who still have a high rate of vacancy. They've had trouble recruiting new civil servants to address the needs of New Yorkers. That's also part of the neglect of the streets that we've seen. And quite frankly, the first example, clear example that we saw of just how distracting these investigations can be is when Mayor Adams turned around his plane on the tarmac in Washington, D.C. when one of his campaign staffers was investigated by the FBI. He was on his way to a meeting with President Biden's chief of staff and other mayors to discuss the needs that our cities have because of the migrant influx. And so it's a clear example as to why these investigations get in his way. But also the need for our mayor to be the biggest and loudest cheerleader for New York City with the White House. That is a big part of the job description. Because we are the greatest city in this nation, we count on the federal government to pitch in when it comes to our infrastructure and our transportation. I have neighbors here with me whose homes were ravaged by Hurricane Ida, and you know, FEMA didn't deliver on its complete promise to get up to $34,000 for each homeowner to take care of their damage. We had to fight tooth and nail for every dollar that our neighbors received. And so I will also be talking over the next 9 months a lot about the relationship that we should see between City Hall and the White House.
All right, Brian, Eagle.
You're talking a lot about distractions. How much of this campaign do you feel like will be about those distractions and what's going on in City Hall rather than issues?
Well, I'm honestly hoping that it doesn't take up too much of the time, because ultimately New Yorkers just want to hear that their taxpayer dollars are being used appropriately, right? That our taxpayer dollars are resulting in the delivery of the services that we expect in return for our contribution. So hopefully there will be fewer scandals and much more substance.
Time TV, do you have a question? No? Do you have a question, sir? In the red?
Want to do something in Spanish?
Sí, puedo hablar español, claro que sí.
Our sister station is 47.
Me parece muy bien. Bueno, muy buenos días. Mi nombre es 𝐎𝐿𝐿 Ramos y hoy anuncio mi candidatura para ser la próxima alcaldesa de la ciudad de Nueva York. Orgullosamente soy hija de inmigrantes colombianos que llegaron aquí hace muchas décadas. Yo he tenido el privilegio de ser nacida y criada en el